So if you saw all my other previous videos, you would see that, wow, Wendy has an awful lot of bad luck. But that's not the case. The case is that the foundation was cracked from the day I was born. This isn't a pity party video. It is more of giving knowledge to those who are not adopted, and to see where the differences are, I guess, in somebody that's not adopted, if that makes any sense at all. Anyways, let's go back. My name's Wendy. I was adopted as a baby. There were 4 of us. One was their birth daughter, and then 3 of us were adopted at different times from different families by people who should not have been able to adopt even a pet, for that matter. I think the thing was our adopted mom liked babies, and that was it. Our adopted dad did not want to adopt at all, but he went along with it, and we are the outcome and the product of them. So, a little bit about them and us. I had an older brother and a younger brother and an older sister. The older sister was their biological daughter, who, by the way, was spoiled pathetically. But anyways, we had to be very quiet around our dad. He was a big church man, in fact, and we went to church, Lutheran church, religiously every week. By the time I was about 10, they fought all the time. He was very scary. He used to beat on our oldest brother a lot. Yeah. But when the worst happened was when the oldest brother started to me and my little brother. For years it went on, and of course we didn't speak up at all. But when I was around 11, my mom decided to leave her husband, our dad, and her way of punishing him and getting back at him was leaving us kids with him. The only one she took with her was her biological daughter. Mind you, I am now left at 10, 11 years old with a dad that doesn't want me, an older, much older brother that's ing us, and a little brother that I wanted so badly to protect. And I was the only female in the house. It was awful. I begged and cried and begged for my mom to take me with her, but she wouldn't, because my older sister was so deeply jealous of me, and I don't know why to this day. I really don't. She hated me profusely. She would constantly try to hurt me. She burned the tip of my finger off when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And so my mom took her with her and left me with a bunch of males. Thank God at the time I was into being a tomboy and a BMX racer, because I happened to get really good at it and got sponsors and did a lot of traveling. That was the only reason that my dad started to, let's say, dig me. But to show you how bad it was of not having any parental guidance at all, when I was 15 at a race, I started my period in an outhouse at the raceway. I thought I was bleeding to death. I had no idea what a period was. I was never taught any of that kind of stuff. It was the most traumatizing moment ever, because one of the moms had to help me out because I was crying to one of the other girl racers, and she told her mom. It was humiliating, embarrassing. It was awful, just absolutely awful. By the time I was 16, I overdosed. I did not want to live. Did not want to live. I saw all my friends with their families, loving moms, loving fathers, doing family things together. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why I didn't deserve that as well. They always say that when you're adopted, you are, extra special because you're chosen. Not the case in my dealings. So I had some severe abandonment issues, not only because of my birth mother, but because of my adopted parents and mother as well. I dropped out of high school in the 9th grade because our dad didn't care if we went to school or not. My mom was basically out of the picture. She'd moved on. We didn't spend any time with her. Didn't have sleepovers at her house. Supposedly there was no room, just enough room for her and our oldest sister, her biological daughter. So I was failing all my classes at school. There was no parents. My dad didn't supply food in the house for us. The refrigerator was broken. The oven was broken. We depended on the neighborhood kids who were our friends to sneak food out of their house and feed us. Otherwise, we didn't eat. We didn't eat at all. Our dad would go to work. He'd come home. He'd go into the bathroom for like 2 hours. And then he'd come out and he'd go straight into his room, lock the door, and that would be it. He would be gone until the next day, and then he would do it all over again the next day. So it's really hard for me not to have so much hate, anger, and blame because my teeth went bad, because nobody was taking me to the dentist. I was so quiet in elementary school that I was held back in the 2nd grade just because I wouldn't speak. Now, come on, you would think educators and, adults would wonder, what's going on there and maybe check into it, but nobody ever did at all. I ended up living with different families, foster type families, from about the age of 15 and on, where abuse took place there. Not pretty, not good memories whatsoever, but I didn't have the chance to have parents that pushed me in school, wanted me to think of my future, go to college, push for those dreams, hygienely take care of us in a proper way. And so I basically had to wing everything. I just winged it because I wasn't taught anything. I wasn't taught what a good mother's like. I wasn't taught what healthy parents looks like. And my husband that I was married to for 23 years, he was raised by his gay mom who was partying all the time and getting him high at 16. Not that, he didn't deal with any abuse or abandonment or any kind of issues like that. She was actually pretty cool. I liked her a lot. I miss her, in fact. But it's very hard because, here I am at 56. You saw in my other video, everything I own fits in one room. I can't seem to get a job. I keep applying. It used to be so easy to get jobs when I was younger, and it's not like my age is on my resume, but for some reason it's like nobody's calling back. I'm insecure. My biggest fears my entire life was going back to not having a proper place to live, being hungry and alone. I have severe insecurity and fears of that, which I've always had. I had major abandonment issues, wanting a mom. How come all my friends have a mom? All these cool moms, and their moms were doing this and their moms were buying them that. And all I could do was just, sit by the wayside and watch it all take place. My little brother ended up in and out of jail for a good portion of his adult life because of the abuse that he suffered. And thankfully, I did seek a lot of counseling in my younger adult years. A lot of counseling. And I know that I'm a survivor. I know that I'm resilient. In fact, I've had some counselors say that I'm the most resilient individual that they've ever met so far. So that made me feel kind of good. Sure, some of the things that have happened to me were my own fault, but a lot of stuff that happened was not my fault. And it just goes to show you just never know who's going to be dished out a nice, beautiful hand with beautiful memories and a beautiful childhood, and who's not. I don't tell this story to many people at all. The people that have known me for, years and years, they know. And they think I'm pretty resilient as well. And I know I am. I know I'm strong. I would never want to come across as a victim or, pity myself. I will say that throughout those years, those early years, I did overdose 3 different times. But that just goes to show the massive amount of pain and issues that I was dealing with. So I hope this video helps you to understand more of who I am, and that my other videos with everything that I've dealt with and have gone through kind of explains maybe a little bit more as to where I'm coming from and where I came from. If you're adopted, even, leave me a comment, let me know. I'm curious as to how many adoptees are out there. I did find my birth mother when I was in my mid-20s, and it was very awkward. And shortly after meeting her, she passed away. My birth father, all I heard was that he once had a domestic violence, whatever, issued against him, and that's all I needed to hear. Once I heard that, I didn't care about meeting him or finding out who he is. Sorry, but that's just the case. I have a short span for when it comes to men being decent and not being decent. So anyhow, I thank you so much if you're still watching this video. It means the world to me. I have 111 subscribers. Woohoo! If you're not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. If you liked the video, I hope you'll hit the like button as well. Again, leave me a comment. I read all my comments. I love hearing from you guys, knowing that there's others out there and knowing that people are listening and people do care. Again, thanks again for being here and watching my video. Take care until the next time. Bye. Bye.